Hello everyone. Okay, so we will continue our talks about video games and interpreting them. Last time we talked about how to use Roland Barthes and the structuralist approach in order to understand what's going on in popular culture in general and in video games in particular. I'm concerned, as I talked in my previous videos, with the apocalyptic narrative, meaning the end of the world as seen in this kind of eschatological or apocalyptic narratives that are deeply coined in this survival horror video games like Resident Evil. Now, as you can see here, we have the screen of Resident Evil 2. I will go and play the video game for a while after I want to do something else, and in this particular sense I will just go and look at this painting in order to visually analyze some of the features presented here, and we can actually see something about how artists in the past used colors. Okay, so this is a modern era, but happened also in antiquity. So how they used colors, how they used shapes, how they used forms in order to represent something about the world around them, and meaning the social statuses, the differences, and the contrast between social categories and people. Okay, so let's go with analyzing this picture. I'll draw on top of it. I'm also an artist, so I have a plan after doing this and that to actually create some of the artworks inspired by video games and by this kind of things, and just play with this kind of stuff. Okay, so here we are. Oh, where am I? Yeah, I need to actually put this. Yeah, well, I'll go here. Boy, I didn't think about this one yet. Because I have a second monitor which is here, as you can see it, and my streaming machine is here. I have to draw with my mouse. Okay, well, it is what it is. I'll just do this briefly using another color. Let's just pick up red. Okay, as you can see, we have light. Okay, using a mouse, as I said, we have light, and we have dark colors here. I'm gonna just put D from dark, and a green light and a green dark, or a light green or in the light dark. This is already a contrast, and in the dark side we see a man here who's very upset. We see a dog at the same height of the man. Okay, so there is an association, and of course the dog is very dark. Now on the opposite side, like if we draw a line here, we see another fancy dog, a smaller dog. So and he goes next to another pet, which is a monkey on a leash held by a woman, big woman, still in the dark, with her pair, gentlemen, and they're wearing umbrella, fancy clothes, and obviously they are rich people because they can afford a monkey, right? So who can afford a monkey in Paris? Probably is a rich person, especially at that time. So this is Paris, represented by the painter. Let's go back. Kate here, and Wikipedia, like the most reliable source of all. Okay. Yes. Okay. A Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte. Okay. This is Paris. This is what I want to say. This is Paris, and Georges Seurat represented the differences between social categories, and meaning the rich and the poor, for instance, but not only here in this painting. And we will look at how he used colors in order to represent that. The contrast between the poor and the rich is a contrast of status, meaning that the rich are taller, they occupy more space, they have fancy pets, and just they just impose themselves as something bigger in position. They seem happy, and however, they are still in the dark. On the other side, we have the poor who doesn't have fancy clothes. Okay, so he's very he's wearing clothes that he's stripped off. You can see his shoulders. He's poorly dressed, right? He's smoking pipe, and obviously, by the way he frowns, he's not happy, right? Like, if you look at his face, I'll just delete this so you can see it better. And next to him, as I said earlier, there's a dog eating something from the ground. Now, we can associate the dog with the poor man, as I said, because they have the same height. So, thinking about this association, we can think that the poor man associated with a dog, the poor man is something like a dog, like a stray dog. There is no leash on the dog. You don't see any collar. Opposite to this little fellow who has a leash, because he belongs to somebody. Okay? The monkey has a leash too. Okay, so this is something that the fancy animal is not a stray animal. Obviously, it belongs to somebody who's richer. Now, the rich and the poor, this contrast is put by the author, by the painter, in darkness, in shade. Okay, so we can see this green palette that shows that actually this shouldn't happen. Perhaps the vision of the author was that, like, the differences, the social difference between the poor and the rich are unfair. Those differences are basically a source of suffering in a way or another. Now, there are other contrasts here. I won't talk about all of them, but we can talk about the light contrast. In between light and dark, there is a little girl, has a bouquet of flowers. Okay, so she's looking at the flowers, perhaps daydreaming, and this is her strict, severe mother, who has a very vertical position. Okay, she doesn't bend at all, so she's very firm, and we can see a contrast between in a conflict, a potential conflict, not as we've seen before, between the poor and the rich, between an upper class and the lower class of society. We can see a contrast and a conflict between different ages, or like in the family, between the mother and the older mother, the younger daughter. Now, obviously, those flowers represent a potential suitor. She's old enough to get married, but still young, and her mother holds a leash on her, right? Like trying to control the daughter for her own benefit. We can see this in the light. Okay, so this contrast between the authority, who's the mother, who wants the good of the daughter, and the freedom of the youth, the desire for freedom of the young daughter who has a suitor, so she probably is in love, she wants to go with him, but she cannot because her mom holds her tie on with a leash, right? So it's this difference between authority, between the masters and the slaves, but on a different background and on a different light. Okay, so this is a source of light. Okay, so they are half in between light and dark, actually, because they still sit, the bottom part of their bodies in the shade, but the upper half is in the light. Okay, so, and also mother holds an umbrella for protection. Okay, so she protects both herself and her daughter from in this case the sun rays, but you can imagine sun rays as representing, like the outsider, the suitor who wants to marry or seduce her daughter. Okay, so we're moving to to another conflict or another conflict. We can see here a young girl, and we can also see her mom, perhaps here holding an umbrella. They are totally in the light. Okay, so the young girl, she's represented using light palette of colors, symbolizing blue and white, purity, right? Naivety, purity. Everything is the light. Her mother, the difference or the conflict here is not a real conflict. Is nurturing conflict. I mean, this difference is the difference of nurturing. But we can see that the mother is actually looking somewhere else, and this look somewhere else may give us the idea that actually the light is only apparent. She's not happy, she's not fulfilled, she's thinking of someone else or something else, right? So she doesn't like her position of being a mother, like obliged to this role in society. Okay, so we have several other things here. According to Wikipedia, there's this woman here that's having a fish road, because in that place in Paris, people used to hook up prostitutes, so the fish rod is a symbol of, just buying a woman for a specific period of time, like just hiring her for this kind of services, prostitution and stuff. So I just wanted to make this video to show that this kind of interpretation is not something that I began with, and I can use this kind of model to interpret video games like Resident Evil 2, and we can use and employ something like structuralist approach or other approaches of the same sort in order to rely on a more solid hermeneutics, right? So we can have some conceptual background to solidify our point of view if we ever come up to a point of view that will make us understand what's going on in the video games industry. And even if it is an unknown, I'm not talking about a plot, like a common plot between companies, so forth, but maybe ideology comes underground, like maybe it's not something just like the idea of the evil within, okay? It's something that lurks underground, it forms a wave underground, and when it comes up, it pops up in different places. And this is how fashion emerges, or different type of wave of thinking, or a different type of way of accepting, or just having aversion towards certain aspects of life or society, right, or groups of people and so forth. And this is too late. When this happens, it's too late, and everybody wonders, like, what happened? Like, the world was like that before, and it suddenly changed. It just snapped into something else. So that's one of the ideas, and I'm still exploring. I'm not saying that I'm done with this and this is my firm position. I'm saying that I'm going to employ this kind of things in order to get a broader or clearer picture of what's going on when I play video games, how many things are connected there. Because last time, in 2000, not last time, but in 2012, I remember a discussion when I went to Oxford, and I had participated to this conference on video games, and I actually talked about Resident Evil 2 with some of the big names who wrote about this topic, like Ewan Kirkland. Okay, so last time when we discussed about what's going on in the video games industry, and it was during that time when in United States of America there was somebody dressed as Joker entered the cinema and started to shoot people. So it was this influence from video games and popular culture, right, that was strong enough as an ideology to motivate troubled citizens like like probably he had a mental background, right? But it was strong enough to make that individual change and take action, violent action towards his fellows, like that they were innocent. And I pose this question, like, what's going on? How much of the content out there really influences us, and in what way? And the answer I have been given by somebody who works in the industry was, we frankly don't know. We're creating video games, but we don't know what we're creating. We don't know the response of the people, what the world will look like after children and teenagers and adults, why not, they play these video games, and how this kind of realities, virtual realities and narratives and actions, the immersions into the virtual space will actually influence the players and society overall. Okay, so the question was like, we're not controlling the process. We don't know what will happen. This might happen. Somebody will just, somebody can pop out because he got obsessed and immersed and identified himself with the character of Joker. Just take a shotgun, go there in the cinema and kill, just shoot 70 people until somebody will put him down. So that's something that is suicidal, desperate. Of course, America had a few of these happenings before. And look at what's going on right now in the United States. It kind of became a norm. So I'm not saying this is the result of video games only, but there might be some influence there, right? So it's one of the ideas that I have in my mind, but let's start the game now. I'll just begin this again. I'll end the streaming now and post this because I want to make short a video. So please check my next video regarding Resident Evil and how to interpret this approach, how to approach video games from a critical point of view. The same way you can approach a work of art, in a sense that not just colors in aesthetic beauty or this kind of feeling can be transmitted through art, but also ideology, in the sense Roland Barthes and others put it in his text. Okay, so bye for now, and because we have to have a code. remember what? Okay, where is my code? Ah, yeah, it was there. Was it? Okay, there it is. That's one, but we're going to two. What do you think about the external? It's a reflection of the internal. I'm gonna say that over and over again. Now, bye for now.